Hi, everyone. My name is Alex Shellhaas, Senior Product Manager here at Cavallo. Super excited to be showing you Cavallo OMS, Cavallo CRM, and our analytics package. These are new tools that allow anybody on Business Central to really transform the way that they do business. So let's dive into the products. So what we're looking at here is Cavallo's mission control page, which really is kind of the home of the entire organization as they're evaluating the way that their business, manages documents throughout their entire life cycle. And the goal of this page is really to help you communicate effectively with your customers, but also create a sense of order to your process and the way that your organization does business. So we've got really clear and concrete steps throughout the process. There's a new order, reserve inventory, we've got a priority picking, and these can be fully curated to meet your business's needs, and you can define these queues any way that you like. One of the really cool things about this product is that you can actually design that process with a no-code workflow engine that anybody in your organization can just pick up. You just define the steps within your process on the left here. You create more routing rules in the middle, and then you define the specific business rules that you want to make sure are true for each and every document on the right-hand side. So to give you a little bit of an example of what that actually looks like, this is kind of the back-end engine of our OMS tool. And so I can see that if I want to, I could turn on automated actions and I could trigger actions like automatically emailing documents right from the system so that your team doesn't have to do that manually. They can use the power of this tool to automatically reserve inventory, automatically email documents, and so on and so forth. And then from there, what you can do is really kind of define the routing, the things that should happen with the orders, with the documents in your business. So a lot of our customers are drop shipping products as an example. So what you could do is just say, hey, if a field from the warehouse is my East warehouse, maybe that's my drop shipping warehouse, I can route the documents that have that attribute to the appropriate spot so that my fulfillment team knows that they don't have to do anything. You could automatically reserve the inventory given an action. You could do something like rush picking. And one of the really cool things about this is is hyper flexible to be able to leverage all sorts of different attributes associated with your sales document. So if it was created by a certain user, or if it was created before a specific date, or if the shipping date is a certain value and you're not sure you can get that out, you could use and design workflow to help control and manage that process in a really clear and concise way. And so in this example, if customer PO contains rush, that automatically routes that document to my priority picking queue. My fulfillment team can then pick it up right from there. The other part of kind of this workflow definition is really these business rules that are critically important to making sure that your business is successful and profitable. So at the top, these are just kind of three examples that I've written out here. The first one being margin check, which really just says, hey, if the margin is more than $1,000 and the gross margin percent is less than 20%, let's require that document get permission. And we can stack these conditions on top of each other because I don't want to be notified every time a document has less than 20% margin. I want to know when it's a sizable and substantial document moving through my system without the type of margin that I would like to have on it. So you could define who has the actual authority to approve that. In this case, it's just myself, but you could add multiple approvers if your business is larger and you need more resources associated with approvals, then you can do that here as well. And all of this is just really simple and easy to use that allows, actual businesses to design that process without, writing a single line of code. This really helps organizations really sell more effectively as a result. And this kind of brings us into kind of our CRM product. And this would be kind of an example of how we're leveraging that if you have both of the CRM and the OMS product. So I can go into this customer here. I can view the status of their documents. I can see that there's a bunch of documents associated with the customer here. I can see what products they've purchased historically. And then I can also see that, hey, they haven't purchased this product for quite a while. Maybe that's a call to action to me as a sales manager or somebody doing business with the organization to pitch this next time I talk to them. But what we've really done is spend a lot of time on making sure that the order entry and the quote entry process is really seamless for organizations that need help in this process. And so we created just a really usable order with kind of the header level information up top. As organizations are entering in really complex orders, this header information starts to be less useful. So that's why we wanted to make sure that you could hide those details so you could really concentrate on adding products to your order, products to your quotes to make it a much faster process. And you can see inventory across your warehouses. So you could select multiple products, add those to your order. And just to kind of illustrate how the CRM and the OMS packages work so well together is one of the business rules that I had set up was a discount rule. So that anytime that there was a discount greater than 5%, it actually flagged that document as something that is important that shouldn't be going through. We don't want our sales team to be giving away margin, giving discounts when they shouldn't be giving discounts. So from here, if I'm a sales rep getting ready to put in the document, I can then start to communicate with the person that's in charge of approving this. So and so you can just leave a note. Can I do this? And submit that. And then, the person that's in charge of that approval process is going to be able to evaluate that. The document is officially locked. It violated the business rule. I can see that it still violated the business rule. And then right in mission control, what I can now do is evaluate this approval queue. So I can say, okay, there's a bunch of documents in here. Do I want to approve or reject here? Imagine now that I'm a manager and I'm getting ready. I can go in here. I can approve or reject this, and then leave a reason why. So that concludes a little bit of a taste of the CRM and OMS package that we are now offering within Business Central. Super excited about these products. Let's shift gears now into our analytics package. What we're looking at here is really just kind of our trend monitor, which helps organizations and businesses understand the state of their business at various different levels. So they can see week to date, month to date, quarterly date, some really critical KPIs that evaluate how their business is operating and telling you if there's any unfavorable trends throughout your business. And we really wanted to take it one step further and help organizations, evaluate their process. So this is the real-time dashboard, which we're kind of affectionately calling the Now dashboard as well. Just helps you evaluate the overall state of your business. If there's any really concrete bottlenecks that are happening in your procurement process, within your picking process, and it helps surface that information in a really clear and concise and readable way. This is also kind of the tool that, a lot of our customers are using to evaluate, like, hey, can I go home? Can I go to lunch? Can I take a little bit of a break, or are there opportunities or really critical fires happening within my business right now? And so on the left here, we've got the queues, the overall time in the queue as it moves from left to the right. The documents would slowly shift to the right. And you can see that kind of the size of the bubble denotes the value of that document. So if you're trying to add value to your business, you're probably wanting to triage the most important documents. This helps you triage those documents. So one of the things that we wanted to do on top of this was also build an alerts engine, which tells you kind of proactively when you should start, caring about certain parts of your processes. So it's a really dynamic alerts engine that allows you to define and design alerts that meet your specific needs. So if there's documents that are, greater than $1,000, you can go ahead and define that. We'll just leave it at $10,000. And, if order margin is less than a certain threshold, we could flag that. And then what we can do is we could actually say, okay, if there's a really important customer that's, their document is stuck in my picking queue, let's send a notification to the sales rep so that they can proactively notify the customer before they become real fires. And so that's a little bit of a taste of Cavallo's new products. Super excited about them. These are new tools that allow anybody on Business Central to really transform the way that they do business.